I have purchased a Chrysler. Do I know anything about fixing boat motors? Fuck no. Do I even own a boat? Also no. But now I own a reason to buy a boat. Even though I've never touched a boat motor, I could kind of look at what it is and see what it needs. Mother. I bought this from some random dude on Facebook who didn't know anything about it, but taking the cover off, we could see that there's 3 carburetors, and on the other side there are 3 spark plugs, which means this is a 3-cylinder, and it's also a 2-stroke, which means this has more in common with a leaf blower than your car motor. I cleaned off this little nameplate down in here, and you can see it's a model 707HE, rated for 70 horsepower at 4750 RPM, and right here on the crankcase, we can see that it has 1971 marked on it. This thing is genuinely as old as my dad. This thing came with the shifter assembly, which is also the throttle. It came with the power cable and nothing else. No title, no paperwork. Who does it belong to? Nobody knows. It belongs to me now, and I'm gonna have to get that officially registered with the state of Washington to get this thing boat legal. That's okay, I don't care, I have time. But anyway, I'm gonna pull out the spark plugs, make sure they spark, hook up a battery to it, crank it over, see if I can get it started. I'm gonna start testing things separately, but you know these alligator clamp test lead things? There's just tiny little clamps. These things would fucking fry in a second if I put battery voltage through them, more battery amperage through them. So I got some fucking jumper cables. These are just test leads, but chunky. You gotta do the thing. Okay, here, starter solenoid, here's ground. Why is that not working? Nothing. Put power here and there, nothing. It's not plugged in. None of the wires are plugged in. That would fucking help. Why wouldn't people just sell me a working motor for 150 bucks? That was a bit of a side project, but now, probably should have just checked this in the first place. Power there. If I put power to here, now it works, now it works. Okay. I'm gonna try hooking up this, because I know this gets power now. And if I hook power up to here, oh! Look at this. If I turn the key, the starter starts, but it's not going up. It needs to go up. And I've just killed my battery. Okay. Okay, this is my tester battery, and look, I almost have 12 volts. It's a 12-volt battery. But as soon as I put load on the starter, fucking nothing. So that's probably our problem. I just went to Walmart and got a marine battery, which turns out uses the same terminals that this thing already had. Who would have thought the marine battery terminals would be the same size as this marine cord? It's fucking magic. Oh, it's not the same size, but whatever, I'll make it work. Okay, I get everything hooked up temporarily. I'm just gonna turn the key. That works. Why did it not spin over? It wants to. Maybe it just needs lube. I don't know how boat starters work again, so I'm sorry. Maybe this is supposed to do something, like, I just don't know what the fuck it means. Okay, let's try that. Look at that. Cool. So we have spinning. Now we need to check for spark. And I'm gonna clean off that front there. I'm gonna hook some spark plugs up, ground them to the case. Nope, I'm getting no spark. All right, I've done some wiring research, and I think this has aftermarket stuff on here. There used to be a different coil, but now this is just, it looks like a car coil. I'm gonna test to make sure I actually get spark. So I'm gonna hold this to ground, and I should just be able to ground this and get spark on it. Okay, we have, the coil works, okay, fuck. After a bunch of staring at diagrams, I think I've figured out the problem. So with this kind of ignition coil, you apply 12 volts to both of these posts here, and then once you remove that 12 volts, that's when you get shocked or make a spark for your cylinder. Inside the distributor here, there's a little lumpy cam, and it comes around and it separates these things called breaker points whenever it needs a spark. And those were just dirty. I have my continuity tester hooked up to the input for the distributor and then the ground. So when I touch both of these together with a screwdriver, it's connected. Now my points are dirty, but if I take some cleaner and then clean them out, it's gonna start beeping because I'm using my screwdriver to push them open. If I stick a piece of paper in there, use that to dry out my points. Now when the points are released, now they actually make connection. It's really annoying. But in theory, I should be able to hook this back up, crank it, and get a spark. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, I have the battery hooked up and everything. Points are back together. I'm gonna put this on a ground here. And when I rotate it manually, it should spark. I touched it. It sparks, but I touched it again. 3 clean spark plugs going in. All right, so our combination, we have air and spark, which means we need fuel. I know there's air because there's air pushing through here. Do I have compression? I don't know. Is this thing completely fucked? I don't know. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray a little bit of carb cleaner into each one of these carburetor inlets, and I'm gonna crank the engine. And if I hear any fire whatsoever, then we know that we're kind of on the right track. Is everything off of here? Come on. Damn it. Shit, do I not have enough battery power? I'm gonna hook my 2 batteries up in parallel. And I should have 12 volts, but more amps. Okay. Come on. Is there too much compression? What the fuck? Even with jumper cables directly on the power supplies for this starter, it doesn't have enough torque to spin the motor over. I'm hoping that the connections are just dirty. So I'm gonna take all the starter bolts off, the starter connections off, clean them all, put them back on, try again. I got it off. Turn on ground. It fired! There is smoke coming out of it. It cranked.
I heard.
Pepper and Beebo. Okay, I've got a thicker power cable and an assistant to hold it. This should work, might work. See if it works. Ready? Okay, that was something. Dude! That's all it was just a weak battery cable. Bro! You on?
Yeah.
I say that's good. That's fucking amazing. It is very smoky in here, but holy shit, that works.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. We can't run this for very long because there's no water in it, and it needs water to not overheat. So I'm gonna get this thing packaged up, find a boat, and put it in the water. In the meantime, thanks for watching.